in many ways, we contribute. Our role, as Duncan was mentioning, we used to be called secretaries. How many of you, when you first got your first job as a support professional, had a title of secretary? Let's see a show of hands. So some of us from our the boomer generation here, when we started, that's what we were called. We were called secretaries, okay? And then, secretaries, we used a lot of very interesting, simple tools in those days. So let's take a trip back in time. And let's remember, what were some of the tools that we used back when? Anybody remember anything?
Carbon paper.
Yeah.
That is what I remember. The carbon paper.
We just got a bill from a hotel that I swear
It did.
carbon, and they had whited out.
No.
Yes, they
It was
had
hysterical.
whited out.
It was hysterical.
Was it like an old
Was
antique
it in the
hotel or
Western New York
something?
or in Southern Tier?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I took it into Erica so that she could see it. The yellow paper with the blue carbon and the white correction on it. It was the funniest thing.
I can't
Most
even
people have
believe
never
it.
seen one of these.
I can't even, because that was our nightmare. Those triple carbons
Oh my God.
are nightmare. How many times did I have to retype?
Yeah.
Because I am just not that accurate,
Yeah.
and that white, and then they had the little tape.
Yeah.
What good was that?
I just used a piece of that yesterday.
Did you? It's hard to buy that now. If you want to buy it, it's hard to find it. It's like an endangered product.
That's true.
Cover up something.
Yeah, sometimes when you're making a photocopy, it's very, you want to cover something up or that. It still has a use. What other old contraptions did we use?
Pencils.
Yeah.
Mimeograph. Raise your hand if you remember mimeograph. That was like totally.
And the other one too, the purple one.
The purple one.
I can't remember the name.
Well, they called that Mimeo
was the
too.
No, it wasn't. It had
No,
a
different name?
But anyway.
But it had the fumes. Remember the fumes?
Yeah.
Yes.
You'd be working on a paper job and you'd like, oh my God! What it was is it had this Mimeo fluid, right? You poured the fluid into the machine,
Well,
and then you had to go like this,
Yes.
so that the fluid would surround the roller, and then you had to make the copies like this. This, when I started teaching, all of my handouts were on this.
I learned to type on a manual typewriter.
Yes, I did
Before
too.
the age of an electric typewriter.
And what else did we use? We used overhead projectors. How many
That's
people
right.
remember that?
We still use overhead projectors, excuse me.
Fiche readers.
Right.
The fiche readers.
Yes. How many people remember the early days of computers when you had those little printout cards?
Oh yeah.
When I registered for undergraduate school at SUNY Albany, that's how you had to register. They had all these tables set up in the gym, and if you wanted to take like English 101, you had to go to the English 101 table, and the instructor had just so many cards. And if you were lucky, you got one of those cards, and then you got into class. If the cards were gone, you were out of luck. You had to take a different class.
Our membership used to be done on IBM punch cards.
Yep.
The information was punched out and it was fed through.
Yep. So times have changed, right? And we're now called administrative professionals. And we now, can everybody see okay? Can you see? And we now have some very sophisticated tools that we use. We now have our computers, right? What else do we have? What other sophisticated tools do we have?
The internet.
We have the internet. The internet has changed everything.
Yeah,
Yes?
big time.
Totally. Totally everything. We have all this social media that we have to use. We have all these apps. When did that, IT people, when did that phrase come in? Apps.
Years ago.
I mean, it's like I don't remember hearing applications called apps until like basically the iPhone and stuff. Then it started becoming apps because that's when they turned that into a separate business, selling all these little apps. And people make a living creating apps, right? It's just, you're trying to sell those products. What else? What else is different in our world now as support professionals?
Scanners.
Scanners. Now, I was really excited about the scanner because it would cut down a little bit of the typing. But I don't know about you, but sometimes the scanning is really weird. You notice like letters get flipped and yeah, that happens to my, maybe it's the nature of my scanner, but that was a good thing. You know, just the whole thing when the fax came in, I was amazed at that. Anybody else have awe over that? The concept that you could put a piece of paper through and that someone on the other end could get that, and that of course was before computers and email and all that really popularized. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm so old-fashioned that I still love the microwave. You know, to me that was the greatest thing for the American housewife, the microwave. You know. So the 21st century has changed everything. Our role has expanded as our need to know, manage, and use technology has expanded. I mean, you know, years ago, you could get a job and not know how to type. I don't care what you do nowadays. You have to know how to type because you have to use what? A computer. I mean, even if you go into your local garage where your car is repaired, it's all computerized. Restaurants, everything computerized. The only place that's not computerized is that hotel that's that's the only place.
Southern Tier is not